Hello everyone, welcome to Learning at Vodafone webinar series. In this webinar, we are going to talk on module 2, which is on database management. And under this module, we are going to understand how to implement data manipulation and data control commands in Oracle SQL Developer. In the previous webinar, we have understood about structured query language and SQL constraints. We have also understood the usage of various useful DDL commands and implemented them using Oracle SQL Developer 18c and Oracle 11g Express Edition database in Ubuntu 16.04. Today we are going to understand how to implement data manipulation language and data control language using Oracle SQL Developer. With the help of these commands, we will try to modify or insert the data in the database that we have learned to create in the previous webinar. Data manipulation language statements access and manipulate data in existing schema objects. These statements do not implicitly commit the current transaction. Data manipulation language statements are used for managing data in database. DML commands are not auto-committed. It means changes made by DML commands are not permanent to database and it can be rolled back. These are the few DML commands available where select helps us to fetch the data from a particular table, insert helps to create a record from a table, update will help to modify the record from the table, whereas delete command helps to delete a particular record from a table. Now next is data control language. Data control language is used to control privileges in database. To perform any operation in the database, such as for creating tables, sequences, or views, a user needs privileges. Privileges are of two types: system-based privileges and object-based privileges. System-based privileges include permission for creating session, table, etc., and all types of other system privileges, whereas the object privileges includes permission for any command or query to perform any operation on the database tables. These are the two typical commands which are used under DCL, whereas grant helps to give a privilege to a user and revoke commands take back privileges from the specific user. It is further explained here as grant command means that giving authority to the other user by administrator. If you are an administrator, then only you have authority for granting the authority to the other user. Remember, you can grant privilege only if you have been granted that privilege. Revoke command. Revoke statement is used to deny the grant given on any object. It is used to taking off or removal of authority or say getting back authority from a particular user. You can download the reference material for this webinar from the given link. To complete this webinar, your computer laptop must have Ubuntu 16.04 LTS installed. In case you are using Windows-based computer, so you should have a VMware workstation or VirtualBox which is pre-installed with Ubuntu 16.04 LTS. Live demonstration of DML and DCL command implementation on Oracle SQL Developer would be followed. For that, let me switch to my Ubuntu console. Now, since we are going to use our database for the first time in this session, so let's double click this icon so that it will load the database into the system. Once that is done, we can go to terminal and here we can type SQL Developer. Now when we come here, so this is the default page since we have already done a session in this using this Oracle SQL Developer where we have created a database with the name data. Let's try to access the database. It will ask my password that I have created during installing Oracle 11g database. So you can use your password here. Click OK. If everything is fine, then your SQL Developer would be connected with your database. In a demonstration for DML and DCL commands, let me first create a table named EMP and insert multiple records into the EMP table using single insert command. For that, we need to create a table with the following structure. We would have variable name as employee number, EMPNO, employee name as ename, job, department number, and salary. We will allow null for all columns except ename and job. For that, The query would be create table emp number space number, then bracket 6 for the size, name, data type is varchar2, and the size is 20, and this is not null, cannot accept a null entry for the employee name. Job, the variable, and the data type is varchar2, the size would be 10. This also would not be a null entry, so we'll say not null. Then we have department number as a variable name, and the data type is number, and the size is 3. And the variable is sal, data type as number, the size is 7,2, and we close the query with the colon. Once we did that, when we click on this run button, you have to choose existing. It gives me option to select the connection, so I want to use data, the Power database, and it is connected. It is causing error. Now this kind of error you might come across frequently, so this was something that I made intentionally. I brought you to this point where you got this error. The point is, since I was using the previous created database, so this database would be having a table with the name EMP. So when I am again trying to create a table named EMP in my today's session, so it may give similar kind of error to you also. So what you do first is, we first say drop table EMP. This particular line will help your system to drop any of this EMP kind of a table that might have been created. Now if you try to create this table, it will be succeeded. Yeah. So here you can see that your table EMP have been created. I hope you have understood this small issue. Now when we move further, if I want to see that what all the fields that have been created, I'll type the query select star from EMP. Click on run button, and these are the fields that I have in my table. So in case I want to insert some values in those fields, we will call another query insert. We say insert into EMP space values, and whatever value the user is going to push into this particular table, that will be held by certain variables. So to hold the employee number, we will use the variable with the ampersand sign as EMP number. For all those variables which are of a data type varchar, would be placed under single quotes. So for employee name, we will say single quotes e ampersand e name quote closed, comma, single quotes ampersand job quote closed, ampersand department number, comma, ampersand salary closed colon. So this way we have created a query which will help me to insert some values in the table employee, and those values will be stored in these variables. So, and notice that those variables which are having a data type of varchar2 should be kept under single quotes. When we click on this run button, it pops up a small window where the user is supposed to provide some inputs. So it is asking me enter value for employee number. Let me give the employee number as 1. Employee name, let's say Raj. The job of the employee is, let's say, developer. Department number is 100. Salary, let's say 35,000. Done. and here it says one row inserted. So all these things, whatever we provided, becomes as a record for our table, which act as an employee database now. So in case I want to add few more entries, I'll just copy this query and paste it, let's say 3 more times. Total makes 3. So this is already done. If I want to add one more entry to my table, I'll select this query, click on this run button. So employee number as 2 this time, name as Aditya, job is, let's say, developer, department number 100 because both of them belong to same department, salary is same 35000. Another row, one row inserted. Now third entry is like, let's say employee number 3, the name is Aditi, job is tester, department number has 101, salary let's say 5000. So all 3 entries have been made. Now if you want to check whatever entries I have done, whether they have actually went into my table or not, so we'll use the command select star empty, and when we run this, it will show me that this is the table have been created and these are the fields, and and in this table we have these 3 records with their entries. Fine. Now in case you want to update the salary of those people who are testers from 30,000 to 40,000. So for that we will write a query update employee set sal equals to 40,000 where job equals to with single quotes tester. Fine. So it says that you have to update the salary to 40,000 for those entries, for those records where the job value is tester. So once you run this query, it says that one row have been updated because we have only one entry with the name Aditi. So she is a tester, so her salary would be improved. So to validate, we'll say select star from EMP. And if I click on this play button, yes, here you can see that Aditi is a tester. Her salary have been revised to 40,000 from 30,000. Okay, makes sense. Let me add few more records into this table. For that, I'll again copy this query and paste it here. And first execute this particular query. So now my record number will be 4. Name is Rohan. Job is HR. Department number 110. Salary is, let's say, 35,000. And the second is employee number 5. Name is Garima. Job is admin. Department number is department of HR and admin is same. So the salary is, let's say, 28,000. So now we have made all the required entries, and if I want to check out that what is the current status of my table, I'll again say select star from ELP, and once we execute this, it shows me that we have around 5 fields in our table, and each of those fields have a specific value. This is our current table. Now in case I want to delete from my table whose job profile is HR, I don't want HR to be in this table, so I can say, I can type the query delete from EMP job equals to single quotes HR. Cool. So when I click on this run button, it says that one row got deleted. Now to verify that who got deleted exactly, again I can say select star from EMP. So here you notice that we don't have anyone with a job profile of HR available in this particular table. So for some reasons, in case you want to sort your fields of your table in the descending order of their salary, so you can type the query select star from EMP order by sal decrement. And when we click on this done button, this is what I'm getting. So if you notice that at the very top we got Aditi who have the highest salary, then the next one is Raj and Aditya, the same profile. So and the last one is the admin with a different salary. So all of these entries in the table have been sorted based upon value of the salary. In case for some reasons you want to identify exactly what are the distinct departments we have in our table, so we can type a query select distinct department number from MP. Now this query will just tell me that exactly what are the various department numbers we have, like it is 101, 100 and 110. So these are the three distinct departments that we have in our table. So let's check it out. Here it is. Here it is. 100, 110 and 101. I hope you are following whatever I am trying to communicate. Fine. This is something that we have seen, that how to insert the values in our table with the help of a pop-up window. What if you have a fixed value that you want to insert? You don't want to take a runtime input from the user, but you already have predefined values that you want to insert in your table. For that, we have a different approach. So I'll just clear this up. So with the help of this particular tool icon, so I'll click here. Now I'm going to create a table named student. So I'm not sure whether the student table have already been created or not. So what I'll do is I'll first drop any possible tables. I'll type drop table student. In case this table already exists, that table would be dropped and I could create easily a new table. So table student drop. So now I say create table student space variable as ID and data type as number, size is 5, comma, variable as name, data type as where char2 and the size is 10, variable as game, data type as where char2, size is 20. Now when we click on this run button, it will create a table with the name student. If I want to insert some fixed values in this table, I'll use the same insert query but in a different way. So we'll say insert into, so we want to insert into the table name student. What I want to insert certain values. What are those values? 1. So this 1 would be stored in the variable ID. Then with single quote, since it is going to be a varchar type, so I'll give a name. Let's say Aditi. Single quote closed. And comma, the game that she is interested in, let's say tennis. Now that is also a varchar type, so we'll put it in the single quotes and then we close the bracket. This is the way that you should be using when you have a fixed predefined values to be inserted into the table as a record. When we click on this run button, it says one row inserted. Similarly, if I want to insert few more entries, I can do that. If I want to check that what I have inserted, so I'll say select star from student and click on this run. It says that your table have these three fields, ID, name and game, and each of those fields have a entry. Now if in case you want to alter your table student and add additional field to that, so we'll type the query alter table name as student, and what I want to do, I want to add. What we'll add there? The variable name age and the data type is number 4. So when I click on this run statement, it says that table student altered. This alteration, what it will do, it will just add one more field to it. So if you check here, so we already had three fields, ID, name and game. One more field will be added with the name age. So if I want to insert one more entry to my table, so I'll say, let's say insert into student, and I want to insert certain values. So values would be, let's say 2 is your ID and the name is Rohan, and he is interested to play cricket, so in single quotes, since it's a varchar type, and the age of the Rohan is 20. Close your brackets and colon. When you click on this run button, it says that one row inserted, and then select star from student. Click on this run button, and here it shows that your table have all these entries, and you can find null here. Though this null is for the field name age, because we are not provided age with the first entry, but age came with the second entry only. So the blank age of the ABP is taken as null. I hope you are following our discussion. So this is all on DML. So let's quickly look into DCL command. Now in DCL commands, we already know that there are two major commands or queries that are used under DCL, that is grant and revoke. And both of these queries can be applied on a particular user of this database. So our very first job should be to create a user to whom we want to grant certain privileges, or from whom we revoke the privileges. So to create the user, so we'll use a query create user, and I'll create the username as, let's say, identified by, and here I can give whatever password I want to. So let me give my password as Oracle colon. So when I click on this run button, it will say that user Abhi created. Fine. So once I got my user created and ready, now I can allow that user to have certain benefits. So to allow a user Abhi to create session, we will give the query as grant create session to Abhi colon. You get a message grant succeeded. Similarly, if you want to allow the user Abhi to create tables, you can give the query grant create table to Abhi, and click on this run button. It says that grant succeeded. And so now after this query, the user Abhi would be able to create table because of the special privilege being given to this user. In case you want to give your user Abhi the permission to only view and modify records in the table name EMP, so for that, for such kind of a selective privilege, we can give a query as grant select update on EMP 2, and the username would be Abhi. So we want to grant the select privilege and the update privilege on the table name EMP, and this privilege I want to give to the user Abhi. So we'll click on this learn statement and it says that grant succeeded. Now, once you have given all your grants and you have made your user comfortable to whatever activities he or she wants to perform, and for some reasons you want to revoke the permission to create the table from the user. So right now here at this point we have given the permission that okay, the user Abhi can create tables, but for some reasons you want to revoke this benefit from the Abhi. So you can type a query revoke create table from Abhi. Click on this run button and a particular privilege to create table would be revoked from the user Abhi. Similarly, if you want to remove a privilege, let's say of updating a particular table, in this particular statement you said that you have granted the privilege to the user Abhi to select and update on the table name EMP, and you want to revoke this update privilege. So you can type the query revoke update on and your particular table name with EMP from the username is Abhi. Good. Click on run button and it says revoke succeeded. So we have done the DCL command for this webinar. In this webinar, we have understood basic SQL queries available under DML and DCL commands. We have also implemented DML and DCL commands using Oracle SQL Developer and Oracle 11g Express Edition database. DDL commands along with DML and DCL commands can be used for better database management and can be further extended to implement PL SQL programming. Real-world example for DML and DCL commands can be seen in banking sector, where with every transaction done by the customer, his account, which is stored in the form of database, gets updated. Students can try various available DML and DCL commands with their options for its better understanding and proper implementation. I hope you have enjoyed this webinar. Thank you for watching.